Harley-Davidson first quarter financials, win or lose? Let's talk about that. Let's get cracking. Today's episode is just a quick down and dirty, a review of the first quarter of the Harley-Davidson financials. I find this fascinating. A big shout out goes to veteran biker. Ben sent me a link to the financials, which he is an investor in Harley-Davidson stock. Now, I've looked at a lot of P&L statements, profit and loss statements in my lifetime, and this one is a thing of beauty. It is dressed up for the investor to kind of give off a vibe like a glossy brochure in the showroom. They use verbiage that Johann Zeiss started when he took the job as CEO of Hardwire on how he's changing the corporate atmosphere of Harley-Davidson. They drop references like stage 2 in the financial statement of how they're unfolding the statement, which ties right into their marketing of if you want to upgrade your motor to a stage 1 or stage 2. So it's very brilliant marketing of Harley-Davidson. Basically, they break the whole corporate umbrella under 3 categories: HDMC, HDFS for financial services, and the Livewire. They very quietly sweep the live wire underneath the rug of several of these statements in their quotes that they're sharing with the public. Just looking at the first sheet kind of tells the story here. Revenue, and this is in millions of dollars, $1.5 billion revenue for Harley-Davidson MC. Harley-Davidson Financial Services, $223 million. Livewire, $8 million. Total revenue, $1.7 billion. Operating income or loss. HDMC is up $336 million. Harley-Davidson Financial Services is up $58 million. And the Livewire has lost $25 million for a net of the 3 categories of up $370 million. By the way, Livewire is projected to lose $100 million in the fiscal year of 2023. Profit margin for HDMC is up 21.6%. Harley-Davidson Financial Services is up 26.2%. Livewire is not even measurable for a net result of 20.7% profit margin. Percent over the previous year is up 53% for Harley-Davidson MC. Harley-Davidson Financial Services is down 32%. Livewire is not measurable for a net of 28% percentage of profit over the previous year. It should be noted that ℍ𝕒𝕑, who is the CFO or Chief Financial Officer, whose name is on this P&L sheet, has resigned from Harley-Davidson. Normally that happens when you're in a high-level corporate job. When they're about to fire you and ask you to leave, they very politely just resign, and she has taken the job as CFO for Hasbro Toy Company that makes Monopoly. So what does that picture tell you overall? They're up $304 million for a profit margin net of 17% up. This is very interesting. Now, the first quarter in 2022, they were down 4% from the previous year. Now, in first quarter of 2023, they are down 17% versus 2022. So if you go back over 2 years, they're down 21%. In Europe, they are down 6%, where in last year they were up 28%. Asia, they are up 3%. I have to assume that is the X350 and 500 being sold to Asia and India. Latin America is down 25%. I can't imagine those numbers being very large, so that's negligible. Worldwide, Harley-Davidson is down 12% from 2022. What's interesting here is Harley-Davidson in the U.S. is down 2%, down to 39%, where in 2022 it was 41%. In the touring share, they are down 1%, down to 72% versus 73% in 2022. In the large cruiser share, they are up 1%. Europe share, they are down 1%. Now, this next part I want to point out here, the first quarter of Harley-Davidson inventory units in thousands. 45,000 bikes in first quarter of 23 are on the showrooms of Harley-Davidson motorcycle dealerships. In the first quarter of 2022, 26,000 were on the showrooms. They're starting to stockpile on the dealers' showrooms because they're not selling as much as they did last year. There's a multitude of reasons. We'll talk about that briefly at the end. This next slide shows the revenue bridge. Volume is up 12%, pricing is up 8%, mix is 3%, not sure what that is. FX is down 2%, and overall they're showing an increase of 21%, but they're excluding the live wire conveniently in those numbers. People think the live wire, because Harley-Davidson dropped the bar and shield and Harley-Davidson branding on their electric bike, and it is now a standalone just called the live wire. They only have one dealership that I know of. It's in Silicon Valley, and if you want to buy one, they will ship it out to your local Harley dealer where you can take delivery of it. But make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, this is the live wire, and the sinking ship of the live wire is still under the Harley-Davidson corporate umbrella. Operating income is up 21.6%. They break it down through the pricing, the mix, the supply chain costs, operating expenses, and that's a mess to get your arms around in post-COVID. Now, to be fair, Johann Zeiss said he was going to produce limited quantities of specialized vehicles and raise the price accordingly, which he has done. So I kind of expected to see less volume and more profit per retail unit. This next slide shows the Harley-Davidson Financial Services, and you can see, without digging too deep into it and making this a long video, revenue is down 32% for the first quarter in 2023. Most likely why Gina Gutter, the CFO, quit Harley-Davidson. If you take a look here at their Harley-Davidson Financial Services, their retail credit losses is up 3.2%. That's basically because people are defaulting on loans and the repo truck is getting fired up. What's fascinating here is that in post-COVID environment, they can't hire repo people to do the job. They're not coming back to work. They're throwing up the middle finger after many people lost their jobs due to COVID. So I don't know how that's going to shake down. My best guess is that they're going to have to ask the dealers to go repossess these bikes, which is going to happen quite a bit in the next year or two. This all stems from people walking in and the salesperson saying, "What do you want your payment to be?" And they extend it out to 84 months, a packet full of all sorts of goodies. Here's your jacket, here's your warranty, here's your environmental protection package, here's your chromium heated grips, and you finance it 84 months, you will pay back $100,000 on that bike by the time you're through paying it off. When they go to repossess these, they're taking massive hits because they had very little money down. It's what I call sunburn. When you start this game, you're going to start to show a lot of profit because you extended the term out so long. Well, now it's time to pay the piper. When people can't afford to pay it, your hits are going to be huge. It damn near took Mitsubishi out when they offered 0% financing for 60 months and you didn't have to make the payment for the first year. It damn near put Mitsubishi out of the car business here in the United States due to repos. This next slide just kind of tells the story of Livewire, and I'm not going to put any time into this. It's a giant loser. They need to cut their losses and just shoot that dead horse. It's not going anywhere, and it's a financial money pit. Overall, cash flow, cash is king. In 2022, Harley-Davidson had $139 million cash flow in the first quarter. They are down to $47 million in the first quarter of 2023. That tells the real story, ladies and gentlemen. That's down almost $100 million. This next slide is their overall view. They're predicting, this is a guess, this is not a statement, revenue growth of 4 to 7%. Operating income margin up 14.1 to 14.6%. That's a swag, scientific, wild-ass guess. Harley-Davidson Financial Services is down 20 to 25%. They're flat telling you the truth on the statement. They're expecting to get kicked hard in the financial services with the losses of default loans. Livewire units, they expect to produce 750 to 2,000 units by end of year. First quarter, they only made 69 sales of that bike. That should tell you what's going on right there. Bottom line, they're projecting a loss of $115 million to $125 million in LiveWire alone. And this next slide shows the unit profitability, money earned per retail unit. Now, per retail unit in 2019, it was only $1,300 per unit. In 2022, it had jumped to $3,500. In 2023, they were projecting it to be somewhere around the way it was in 2014 at $3,700 per unit. This remains to be seen. It's going to be a very interesting year. The key drivers since 2009 is 23,000 fewer wholesale units driven by strategic market exits and model pruning. That's a nice way of saying people need to understand when Harley-Davidson reports on their financials that a unit is sold, that doesn't mean it was sold to the customer. When they drop the bikes off at the dealership, they are being paid in full for those motorcycles, either from the dealer writing a check or the dealer has what's called a floor plan expense where they have a loan agreement with their bank. They take out a loan and they borrow the money to buy that bike and put it on the showroom. Harley checks it off as a sold unit. That does not mean retail. Supply chain outlook is logistics is going to be down 5%. That's basically ocean freight offset by warehouse and labor increases. Manufacturing is up 2%, higher cost of labor, simple as that. And materials are up 3%. Everything is costing more. No news flash there for anybody on this planet. So what do I think when I look at this P&L sheet is if I was CEO, I would have some heads rolling on the table by the time the meeting got over. This is trending in the wrong direction, especially in the financial services. This is going to come back and bite Harley in a hard way. I think they're in for a very rough year. As the repos increase, that means the sales on the showroom decrease. So you have two things offsetting that are all trending in the wrong direction. We will be following this throughout the year as each quarter gets released. I'll be very interested to see how Harley does this year. It's going to be a very trying year for Harley-Davidson. Personally, I think the bow is going to break and the ship is going to start to sink in pretty bad this year. Thank you for joining me. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. If you want to see more in the future, hit the subscribe button right down there in the corner. And remember, folks, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.